Good morning. It's midweek, and welcome to the program Breakfast, TVC Breakfast. My name is Etoma Edu.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us on the midweek edition. I am Veronica Danikboy.
Well, good morning, Nigeria. It is TVC Breakfast, and the table is set to let you know what is happening in Nigeria. I am Ria Abdul.
Of course, the table is set. My name.
This is the food. This is the information
is the food that's served at the table, you know.
And we are going to serve them a la carte, as it is.
Exactly.
You know.
Because we have an array of issues we'll be looking at this morning. Talk about the Electricity Act and the controversy around it. Gencos are talking tough, as well as the minister as well. And then we'll also look at stories on the front pages of the papers this morning, and stories that are trending now much later. But let's begin with what ensued yesterday. There was a bit of fracas within the premises of the National Assembly on Tuesday as suspended Senator representing Kogi Central, Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, attempted to access the complex in defiance of a subsisting suspension from the Senate. Amid a heavy security presence, supporters of the senator almost clashed with the personnel. Senior reporter Tijesu Adeoye has details.
Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, in defiance of her suspension, walked into the premises of the National Assembly. She walked alongside some activists, including Aisha Yusufu, after her vehicle was denied entry. The suspended lawmaker marched through the Mopo gate in defiance of what she describes as political persecution.
I said now our senator be this, so we no get another one.
A heavy security lockdown had earlier been mounted around the National Assembly complex, with several personnel from the police, DSS, and civil defense positioned at various entrances. Despite her persistence, Senator Akpoti-Uduaghan was stopped at the inner gates, sparking a brief confrontation between her supporters and security operatives. While addressing journalists, the senator described the 10th National Assembly under President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, as the worst in Nigeria's history, accusing the chamber of operating in contempt of court. She insists that her suspension was fraudulent, alleging that the committee report used to remove her lacked proper signatures and due process, and also claims her removal was triggered by her petition on sexual harassment within the Senate.
Anything that contravenes the Nigerian Constitution is illegal, and the National Assembly cannot be greater than the Constitution. They're now coming down again based on the appeal. Akpabio himself cannot be greater than the courts, cannot be greater than the Constitution.
While confirming plans to head to the appellant court, she maintained that her rights to represent Kogi Central remains valid and vowed never to apologize for speaking out. She accused the president of the Senate of personal vendetta, saying the suspension appeal was filed by Senator Akpabio himself, not the Senate.
This pretty much is the worst assembly Nigeria has ever had, and I hope we will not have to suffer this anymore, because it tells a lot on the individual. And I've said this before, and I'm saying it again. The Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, runs the Nigerian Senate as if it's the third-term governor of Akwa Ibom.
Despite being barred, the suspended Senator Akpoti-Uduaghan reaffirmed her commitment to her constituents and vowed to continue leading with integrity, even if she has to do so from outside the chamber. Meanwhile, plenary continued uninterrupted. Tijesu Adeoye, TVC News, Abuja.
An interesting development there. The senator had cited the ruling by a federal high court where the Justice Bintayako had made some order. And the Senate is saying that whatever Justice Bintayako said was advisory. And she herself, talking about Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, had appealed that judgment, saying where she appealed it, because in that judgment she was required to apologize to the Senate and also pay $5 million naira. The apology was supposed to be published on social media and I think some publication, but she hadn't done that. She had appealed it. Now, people are saying, okay, if you are basing your decision to come back to the Senate based on that judgment or that order that you appealed, then it is wrong. As a lawyer, if you have appealed a matter, then you cannot act on it. So what she is doing as a lawyer, I feel she should understand the law even much more than every other person. And if you have lawyers that are advising you, you should be able to interpret judgments of courts or orders from court, because the Senate is saying whatever Justice Nyako said was advisory, but your own was to apologize to us and also pay a fine for contempt, I think. And then again, she's making some statements that I feel that right now, the way she's approaching this matter, she should begin to be cautious of the statements she makes.
I think she's playing out a script, you know.
Really?
Yes, I think she's playing out a script because, I mean, how can you be consistently wrong about the law and you're a lawyer? I don't know if you get what I'm saying.
And she's standing by it.
Yes, and she's standing by her wrong decisions, or so to say. I'm not a lawyer, and I saw that judgment, and I know that that judgment wasn't conclusive. That judgment didn't say you can go back to the Senate or did not order the Senate to reinstate you. You know, the judgment says apologize to the Senate and follow due process, you know, of the processes that warrants you to go back. That's what the judgment said. Yes, the judgment also said apologize to this to the Senate, and it says pay 5 million naira fine. At least pay the 5 million. Write the apology. I mean, what does it take for you to write an apology? You know, and she was.
Man, I'm boiling.
You get that? So for me, why I said she's playing a script, it's political. She's trying to stay relevant. She's trying to win the sympathy.
I'm trying to understand the
She's trying to win the
side.
sympathy of her people.
They're already sympathizing with her, the fact that she's not at the Senate for the past how many months now? I'm not sure it's 6 months yet. But then she has not been representing them. But I am here wondering, what more sympathy are you trying to win from your people with your kind of actions?
You know, what's happening with Natasha and Akpabio, for me, it gives a bad taste, you know, the way the world sees Nigeria and the way the world sees Nigerian women in politics. Because in as much as we're talking about this thing has gone everywhere. People are calling me from Ghana, what's happening between Akpabio and Natasha? That is what they tell me, that's what they say. I feel like he said, she's a lawyer, she needs to know better. Another thing that I'll say is that people do not really read. Because Veronica, if you check the comments on social media, I think people really believe that the court said she should go back. And they do not understand that it's advisory. Because when you read the comments on social media, everybody's like, oh, but the court said she should go back, she should go back.
That's right.
So that is what they have in mind. That is what they are saying, but that is not what it is. I just pray that she's able to deal with this thing well. And some of the things she's saying, she made a statement about Akpabio. It's now looking more of a personal attack. It's not looking like you're going deep into the matter, but it's looking like you're just trying to personalize it. And it's like a fight between the both of you. But this is Nigeria. It's
Nelson, let's quickly hear you.
You know, first of all, this matter had been the way it was. You went to the court to allege that you were sexually harassed by the Senate president.
No, it began with a change of her seat.
No, of course.
That's the major issue.
True. And then it snowballed into all of that. Now you took the matter to the court. When you went to the court is not a public place where you opinionize anything. You have to bring evidence to the table. And so while social media and outside world is making all this brouhaha, you need to have presented evidence on the table to be able to have facts of it. And that didn't happen. Okay, now the judgment has come. The court advisory recommended that you should go apologize, go back to the Senate and follow the rules of the House. You didn't do that. You went to appeal. Now, if you went to appeal a judgment you think was in your favor, in the first place as a lawyer, why would you go appeal something that has already given you a green card to walk through the gate? And so clearly,
I want to enforce
that.
What you have appealed.
And so clearly,
I'm not a lawyer, but maybe the lawyers can help us.
It shows that you're already on the wrong side, and so you needn't even come to do all this. Look, at the end of the day, Natasha, it's very easy. Akpabio himself, this thing happened to him. A change of seat happened to him then. I think the man just knew what to do. Madam,
Go
appeal and get back to your house so you can represent your people. They have been unrepresented at the moment, right?
Actually.
I mean, come on.
Unfortunately, you cannot decide what should happen. Yeah. So we'll see how these matters will play out, as we have seen Act 2, Scene 3. Let's wait for Act 2, Scene 4. We'll take a breather now and return for the newspaper review. Stay with us.